Dear students, today I will teach you the very important relation, that is the exponent. Okay, this exponent help us in the case of the multiplication of the variables. Okay, so what happens in the simple multiplication of the variables? Say in the basically in the algebra, whenever we have to multiply two or more variables, say the variables is a and a, and we know that if we multiply a and a, their multiplication will be a square. Okay, this is a simple concept we know till the last classes. That is a into a is equals to a square. But we have no idea that how this a and into a becomes a square. So by this chapter, the exponent or the indices will get to know how this multiplication can be done. Or in the case of the division also, we can do here some steps. Before that, there are some formulas that you have to memorize. So let me give you some formula first. And basically, so whenever we express any algebraic expressions, any variables, okay, say the variable is x here. So here x is a variables. So within this with this variable there must be a power. Though if there is no power, so we have to assume that the power is 1. Say in this case, in the case of the x, as there is no power mentioned here, that means the power is 1 here. Similarly, if I say y, that means here y to the power 1 is here. That means if you have any variables and if there is no power mentioned, that means we have to understand that the power is 1. The power 1 is here understood. So, what happens when we multiply these variables? What happens when we divide these variables? Okay, and later on by the giving formula, I will give you the examples of each time. So here, if I say the x is square here, so in this case we have the power as well as we have here the variables. So in such cases, we call this x as the base. Call this x as base. Even if y cube also, here the y is base. And these 2 and 3 simply represents the power of the particular variables. So as per these different terminologies like the base and the powers, now I will give some formula that you have to write in your notebook. So the very first formula that starts with the multiplication of two variables. Say a to the power m. We have to read this as a to the power m into a to the power n is equals to a to the power m plus n. Now, just try to understand here, this is a very basic formula and the very first formula of the exponent. See, what are the expressions here? Expressions are here a to the power m. As I said just now, that variable, this represents simply the base, and these numbers or the any variables, it simply represent the power. So this is a to the power m, means here the a is base, here the a is base, and this m is power. Same way, here a is also the base and n is also the power. So what can we see here? What idea we'll get from here? The idea is that we are multiplying now the same number. That means the bases are same here. What happens when we multiply the same bases together? That means we have, at that time we have to add their powers. So it will be simply a to the power m plus n. That means if two numbers, or we can say the two same numbers or the same bases multiplied, the power will be added. The example is, let me give you x into x. We know if I ask you x into x, you will say x squared. Yes, it is correct. But how it came? I just said if power is not mentioned, the power is 1 here. So in the both cases, the power is 1. So now just try to implement this formula here. Here the x represents simply the basis and this 1 1 represents the power. So what is the formula? A to the power m plus n. So the base will be same, only their power will be added. So how many powers, what powers they have? Powers are 1 and 1. That means 1 plus 1. This is equals to x and 1 plus 1, 2. This is nothing but the x square. So this is the way how when we multiply the same variables will get the power increased. So this is a simple example. Now number 2 formula. Now again we have the same kind of variables. Now at this case we have here division sign. In number 1 we had multiplication, now we have divisions. Or we can express division as this way also, a to the power m divided by a to the power n. See, either division can be expressed by the sign of the division or we can express in the fractions also. This also represents the division of the numbers. So in this case, just opposite of the case, in the case of the multiplication, power was, we had to add powers. Now at this case we have to subtract power now. That means a to the power m minus n will be there if the same numbers are in division. Examples, if I say divide y4 by y square, simply the y will be y, the power will be now subtract. So 4 minus 2, 2, that is y square. So the answer is y square. So this is the number 2 formula. Okay. Now the next formula is number 3. A into b whole to the power m. Now we have no the same basis. We have a different basis. We have a into b. But what we have a common thing? Common thing is that they correspond to the same power. That means the power is m. So the formula will be here a to the power m into b to the power m. So this power will go with the both the numbers. Suppose if we have here into c also, then into c to the power m. If we have into d, then it will be into d to the power m, and so on. The examples, say if I say 2a whole square equals to, that means we have to write here 2 square as well as a square, and 2 square means 4 and a square. So this is the answer here. Okay, so these are the 3 formulas here. If you want to note down, you may note down, or you can take help of your book also. So now the next formula. Now the number 4 formula is about the fractions. That is a by b whole to the power m. Here numbers are in the fractions, but they also correspond to the same power. So we'll have a to the power m divided by b to the power m. Just opposite. Then next formula is a to the power minus 1. So this formula is very very important. Let's note down a to the power minus 1. Okay, or we say it a inverse also. Okay. So in this case, what happens whenever we have the power in negative, power in minus sign? So to simplify it, simply this number can be expressed as fraction. So what we have here, we have a here. So write 1 by a first. 1 by a first. And now see the minus sign. See the power. Power is here minus 1. For this minus only, this becomes here now the fractions. and now the power was minus 1. Now minus 1 will be here plus 1. So you may ask, sir, where is the plus 1? Either you write here power 1 or not. This same. So this is the formula that A inverse or the A to the power minus 1 is equals to 1 by A. Similarly, A to the power minus n now. This formula is also similar. Again we have the power in minus, so it will be 1 by A. Now this minus n will be here plus n. So this is the formula. Okay. Now next is number 7. A to the power 0 is equals to 1. This is also very important formula, that any number to the power 0 will be always 0. Either if you say 2 to the power 0, 1. 10 to the power 0, 1. If you say 1000 to the power 0 is also 1. Now you may ask, sir, what are their uses? So whenever we will have some sums, then you will get the idea that how to use this very formula. Okay. Now next formula, number 8. This is also important formula. See, the power is A to the power m whole to the power n, again whole to the power p, again if I say whole to the power q. Okay, if you just follow your book, okay, you'll just get m and n in your book. If you follow your book, you'll just get a to the power m whole to the power n, up to here only. But I'm giving here up to the q, up to q power. So the formula is same. We simply have to follow one procedure here. What is the procedure here? See, what we have here, power m. Again we have whole to the power n. Again we have whole to the power p and q, so on. Whatever in this case, whenever you will have the power and whole to the power something, again whole to the power something, that time simply we have to multiply all the powers together. So the base will be same. There will be no changes. Base will be same. Simply these all powers, that means here m and p and q will be simply multiplied. That means m into n into p into q. So this is the formula. And in your book, you will see only up to m and n. It is a to the power m into n. But if you need, you may go up to the 3 more powers, 4 more powers. It is as per your need. So now the next formula. So next formula is about the finding the value of the variables. In some cases in the exponent you will get some equation also. So at this case we have to find the value of x. So how to find? Now see here. Say a to the power m is equals to a to the power n. Okay, so what can we see here? Here also we have the same basis. Is there any differences compared to the formula number 1? Yes, there is differences. In number 1, we had the same basis with the power m and n, but in the number 1 formula, these two bases were in the multiplication. In this case, what we have here, they are in the they are equal, they are same. So if their bases are same, what happens in this case? Their power will also be same. That means m is equals to n. This is also the important formula. Okay, so when we have to solve any problems, we have to use this formula also, especially whenever we have any problem in the terms of the equations. Okay, So these all are the basic formula that you have to learn and memorize very well, so that by just looking at the question you'll get some idea that which formula we have to use here now. Okay, this is only up to of the formula. In next video I will come with some problems and I will solve some problem also. Okay, till then, thank you.